by people that was doing fundraisers. Okay.
Okay. Yeah,
And
me and Roger have had a lot of conversations on previous streams in relation to non-governmental organisations, charitable organisations, and third-party organisations, and how the funds that they gain, have been, let's say, inappropriately used, either because of corruption within those organisations, or being provided to corrupt or to governments that are questionable, potentially corrupt themselves.
Yeah.
Not only a guess, that's a fact, and that can be proven quite easily just by looking at the news today. And I'm talking about global news. Good point.
And what I found out too. Okay, my parents ordered some of them things for getting grants. Okay, I go and look through it and all that, and it says in the grant thing, the U.S. grant proposal in the book, it says that you contact these places that's near close to you that it's being shown that they give out money for grants for certain things. Well, the government's sitting there telling you this. I looked it up and I started calling and all that to find out that some of the places in the areas that I'm at no longer does it, or they never have done it. But then the government's sitting there telling you that these places does do that, and then when you find, and then you cook doing a lot more, and then they say contact your representative. Like I'm from Illinois, and talk to people up in Chicago. Okay, the ones that handle the grant. Well, then they go tell me there's a place here in Southern Illinois in Benton that does it too. Okay, I go and call them up, and then they come up and tell me, well, sorry, we do not handle individual people. We handle other places. Well, here's the thing, if my government's telling me I can apply for these grants, and these grants do not exist, okay, then why are they selling books for it?
Hold on a minute. I'm gonna kind of elaborate on that because what you're saying there isn't really coming out too clear. Okay, so kind of let me explain it. Okay. Now, what he's trying to say is this: it's like whenever we have like these grants that are put out for people who need help or need aid. Okay, that they say in Chicago and Effingham, or wherever the capital is here in the in Illinois, is that these programs are available here in this region. All right, so for the individual. But when you go to check these out, they flat out tell you, no, look, this isn't for you to apply for yourself as an individual. You have to go to this organization who actually gets the benefits that are supposed to go to everybody. So they're creating a monopoly where you have to go to this freaking organization to get freaking grants that are meant to be given out to the individual person too. You see what I mean? So it gets pretty complicated there, where they're actually creating monopolies out of freaking government money.
Governments, no matter if they're local or national, they all like bureaucracy. Especially when it comes to the old Krangel-ization.
Well, that's not even bureaucracy, because it's like the bureaucracy in Chicago is telling you one thing, and then you come down here and they've literally turned it into a monopoly, where if you want these benefits that are supposed to be given to you freely, you have to go to this freaking welfare organization to freaking get
it's a form of bureaucracy, selfish, isn't it?
It's
you can only apply by this organization. Therefore, a bureaucracy.
What I'm referring to, and they got these books. that Washington D.C. sells on TV. That you go apply, you buy these books, you do, and these books will help you find the places that near you. You like companies here in Illinois will give you money for grants. Depends on what you're applying for, like for school loans or pay off your car or medical. That these places are supposed to be helping you get that money to help you do that. But then when you call them up, these companies that they stopped doing that for it could be like 3 years, but their name's still in today's book. 3 years later, their name's still in there. The U.S. government's not sitting there going through verifying, upgrading the book about who's still doing it.
Another issue with this bureaucratic system, with its form of bureaucracy, is that information may not be up to date. Information may be handed to one organization or one agency, may that be a Kango or an NGO or a governmental agency, and that information may be stagnant or may not be up to date.
Yeah, by 3 years it should be.
I have heard and I've witnessed this myself. You see so much that is being presented by second parties, and in a lot of cases, some of those parties haven't even discussed it with you. So what we hear and what we see, if I lived in California and someone else lived in Rhode Island, they ain't hearing the same thing. They're not. So how do we know for sure today, with the internet as open as it is, how do we know for a fact what we're seeing and what we're hearing is in fact reality? And this is where doing your homework comes in. And what we're talking about here right now requires a lot of homework.
Agreed. I was going to reiterate that, but yeah. This goes back down to the old thing about critical thinking and not believing everything or not believing everything on face value.
Yeah. But then when I go and try to find out more about it and all that, they don't actually go and get more data. Okay, because I at point blank asked them, I called up Washington D.C. about that. I said, well, no, wait a minute. You guys are out there on national TV and telling them that they can order this and they want to have a chance to apply for these grants. But how is it that these grants, these places in the book that you're selling and you're supposed to keep up on the stuff is not kept up to date? When there's places that might be doing it, they stop 3 to 4 years, okay, well, are they going to refund the money that you just forked out buying that stuff that half of the book is empty, no good at all? And the ones that still do it, they change the policy, okay? And each place is, they don't want to deal, and that's the reason why Donald Trump put the screws to about the grant, because as he says, like he said, way too many payoffs, okay? And these programs, a lot of these programs that was giving out kickbacks, okay? Like here in the U.S., we have this medical thing that these medical places are ripping off the people and the doctors, because they pretend like they're doing things and they can send a thing in for a payment, and to find out that they never did do that to the person. Like people's bill, the insurance company, like if you get like what you call it, where you stick that camera up and you check your uterus, or or find out that you never had that done, and the government found out about that during doing a big investigation on the medical industry about that.
Well, I got to tell you, if you're going to stick something up my uterus or up my anus, I'm going to definitely remember it. If not,
talking about when you get billed, when someone gets billed.
You're right. No, I'm agreeing with you.
Government
You're
getting that
absolutely
done to
right.
them all the time.
You're absolutely right.
So there's so
Again,
many
this
levels.
is where
Going on like
you
that.
need sufficient oversight. It's
Oversight.
okay to set up these programs.
Of the oversight.
It's okay to set up these programs, these concepts, these ideas, but unless you overseeing the running of these things, then how do you know that they are providing good services to the
Well,
individuals?
The participants you choose, the participants you choose make or break. You're exactly right.
And when the company goes belly up, because they got to set and pay back the state and the government back money that they took by doing it. And when the companies are point blank saying that is, they think that you're trying to pull fraud on them, that if you get caught doing it, that you gotta have to pay them back and plus have to service their jail time. Now, how is it possible that a regular person that's like talk to your doctor, to have your doctor do that with a bill in showing that they did something to me when they never did, and they're going to get the money from it and not me. That doctor ain't going to have.
And in a lot of cases, you look at it and you have no clue what it is, so it's hard to challenge it.
Yeah. And
no, you've got a good point.
And how it's like, and with today's, it's like with what I'm referring to is when it comes to companies, the government overseeing like people's jobs, businesses, and all that. Okay, that it needs to be old.
Yep.
We're talking about new things coming up every year. Okay, new type of technology, new medicine. Okay, there's got to be some way to verify for all countries wise, not to be thinking in one way, but thinking in like 3 different other directions. Okay, people.
You've got to throw government changes in there as well.
Yeah, but what kind of government changes? You know, you got to be people got to be a little bit precise on that. You know, like.
Yeah.
Remember, when it comes to day-to-day sort of actions, it's not the government of the day has not really got that much control. Sure, they can create new laws, they can create new regulations. The people that have the control in that sort of situation are the civil servants.
Yeah,
exactly.
Have the right service that knows that.
Not often, anyway.
Well,
and civil servants are supposed to be as smart about something as you are.
Yeah, and some of them ain't.
Yeah.
Some of them are right out dumb as box to rock.
Well, now that you've gone on your tantrum and literally have said absolutely nothing about QAnon, which the topic was originally.
Okay, yeah. We really got
like, you know, the thing is mute yourself out, Robert. We got to make a habit of switching out.
To be fair, because we've been talking about corruption, we're talking about how governmental organisations are formed and agencies are formed and how they act to.
Well, see that everything that they're talking about actually has absolutely nothing to do with constitutional government. Like the stuff you're talking about, that's corruption. That should never have happened in the first place.
Agreed.
So there's
we are in the situation that we are.
But their solution to it is, instead of going back to constitutional law, which our government is supposed to go according to, they want to abolish the one thing that'll freaking stop this shit from happening. Okay, they want to just consider the Constitution as outdated, get rid of it, and then create a military state, to impose laws on us according to the military.
Well, I mean, if that's the case, I mean, and I have 3 or 4 different versions of the Constitution in my notebook as I've rewritten it. If it's outdated, then update it. You don't get rid of it. You update it.
What? I mean, the thing of it is like,
Yeah.
the Bill of Rights is codified. It can't be changed. Okay, the rest of them are the ones that are changed, and that's how they manipulate the government through the freaking amendments after the Bill of Rights. Okay.
You were saying that
You can add an amendment, but you cannot change the ones that exist.
I know. You say that there is no such thing as military law. You suggest there is no such thing as a military law. There is.
There is. We call it maritime law. No, there is. We call it maritime law.
But we're just trying to sort of suggest that.
No, that's not what I'm suggesting. I'm suggesting they want to get rid of our laws and make it to where we follow military law.
Yeah, so
But it's kind of already like that.
No, it's not. It's not.
Well, I
you
mean-
see, that's the thing. The military, the military, freaking goes according to freaking civilian law. They go according to freaking what is put down by the President of the United States, and the President of the United States is supposed to abide by constitutional government, constitutional law, just like the judicial system and the Congress. They're not all of these extra bureaucratic laws that's been put down on us. Okay. Those are constitutionally illegal.
So you have certain kinds of laws that will enact when other laws are dormant or become active. Okay, for example, I'll give you an example. We are at war right now. The United States
No, we
government
aren't.
and military
Actually,
is always we're always at war.
we're not at war. Look, that's a good example right there. Like the stuff going on in Iran, you'll hear the media always push this thing, but we're at war with Iran. You'll even hear Trump saying that shit. We are not at war with Iran.
As long as we have any kind of military operations or military personnel in other countries doing operations, we are at war. And so that puts
War has to be declared.
It has to be declared, and that's done by Congress.
Justifiable.
By Congress.
Right.
Okay.
So
But hold on. What he is saying is absolutely true. Continue, please.
the Patriot Act has never been repealed.
Constitutionally illegal.
It is constitutionally illegal. I agree with you 100%. However, because of the Patriot Act, we are in a constant state of war. If there is war, then there is maritime law. So whenever you go to a courtroom, if you happen to have a traffic ticket or something, whatever, I don't know, you find yourself in a courtroom, ask the judge why his American flag has gold lace around it, gold frilly lace. That's a maritime flag.
You know, all that could be put to an end right now if freaking we went back to the Constitution and obeyed the constitutional law. That's my whole point. You know, but the thing of it is like everybody freaking believes that freaking abolishing the Constitution is going to take care of the problems you're talking about right there. Okay.
No, it won't.
It's not.
Okay.
The
whole reason why we are having the problems now is not because it needs to be updated. It's because freaking we need to say, look, you're breaking the law. Vietnam was illegal. Okay.
Yes.
Vietnam was illegal, and from the time Vietnam happened until now, they just keep freaking doing the same shit. And getting away
It
with
most
it.
definitely needs to be updated, and I can tell you why. I'll give you an example. So the Fourth Amendment, right? There's not supposed to be any soldiers or military or police in your household to monitor you. Yet we have cell phones, and the government's listening to us.
Then that needs
They'll
to
find
stop.
their ways of getting around
That
just
needs
about
to,
anything.
that needs to stop. You see what I mean?
It does, absolutely.
because it's constitutionally illegal.
Constitutionally illegal.
So
There's
instead
a
of
whole
instead of
list
making,
those.
oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Rob.
No, I'm just saying there's a whole list of those, and that would be another show, but we could do an entire show on how the government is stepping outside of the Constitution. We could do an entire show on that.
Right. And that's, I mean, that's the whole point of it. Instead of stopping the actions from happening and saying that's constitutionally illegal, what these people are doing is saying we need to get rid of the Constitution, come up with something new, because this just not working. You know why it's not working? It's because we aren't freaking
You
enforcing
haven't backed it up. Right.
We haven't enforced it. We haven't, as individuals, as a part of the freaking people who are voting people in, we haven't said, look, we're tired of it. You're breaking the law. It's time for you to stop your shit.
I keep seeing videos. Go ahead.
There is a movement, and again, I've been doing this for over a dozen years, and I've written a lot of the articles that were on the Liberty Beacon. And what I can see is there are a lot of Americans that are getting pissed off at what the hell is going on and who's doing it or who isn't doing it. And I was born in 1954. What I see around me today are more unhappy, displeased, and pissed off Americans than I've ever seen.
Right.
And I will go ahead and say, I mean, the fact that, I don't know what the amendment, the 25th Amendment is, but I keep seeing it's popping up all over my YouTube. Everybody wants to enact the 25th Amendment to stop Trump going to China to talk about blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, this is so much. I don't even know if I have the time to research this.
Yeah, I know.
But you guys know what's going on with that?
Yeah, I've seen it too. I try to ignore it, to be honest with you.
Really?
Yeah, I don't even want to see it either. Robert, you can unmute.
Oh,
I
man,
know
that
you
seems like a
tried to
lot.
say something.
Here's the thing, guys. A lot of lip service is going on and on that deal, okay? Because as they said on the news, okay, what makes you think that he's going to hold to his 10-minute degree upon the deals that he made with Donald Trump? All right, Donald Trump's going to be out of office in 3 years. Okay, buy the stuff and the degree and hold to it. Okay, it's like with it, like Canada. Okay, Canada, he's going to own Canada, because if you manipulate the country by job and economy of the country, you more or less own it. Okay, when you got more business into a foreign land, you can control their economy, their laws, and all that. But then you got people.
Their military.
You got people that spend money in that country, and they're going to know where that money's coming from. Okay, that's with all countries.
Yep.
And that's the reason why when we had that, when we fought for independence, the president, he said that he told them to leave because they wanted to where our country had to be built by people that was here. Okay, the business had to form, they had to make their own economy on their own, not from any foreign country or anything else. They wanted to where the people from the country build their economy.
Okay, hold on. Now, just so we don't get caught up in that, because that's a lot of nationalist crap. Just to be honest with you, like the United States, when it was founded, okay, we didn't nitpick over this crazy shit about freaking international crap. The only thing we wanted is we wanted our independence. We chased the Tories out, ran them up to Canada, and that's where the Canadians are. Okay, that we because Canada or the Tories that were here after the Revolutionary War actually fought with the British against the freaking people who wanted independence. Now, when it comes to law, our Constitution is set up to where we respect the law, no matter what country it's from. Okay, it's like especially when it comes to contracts. like international agreements. I actually did.
Yeah.
I mentioned that about a college. I forgot which college it was, but Dartmouth. They wanted to shut Dartmouth College down, and because of the contract that was made up between England and the college, the United States actually had to abide by it because it was a contract between England and that university, so that's the way they always have been, now they did have a problem with I forgot who he was a French hero who fought here in the Revolutionary War, but he tried to come back to the United States and recruit Frenchmen to go back and fight for the French during the French Revolution, and that's when we put a stop to that. But we never did nitpick over all of that. And with what you were talking about, that kind of brings us into the third topic. So I'd like to move on to the third topic so we can get through it if you guys want to do that. You okay?
Okay. We do need to have a constitutional, just flat out show.
Yeah.
One day.
I agree with that.
But yeah.
Now this is actually.
No, this has been a good conversation. It's been a good conversation. If you've got more, please continue.
Now, this is actually a big topic that isn't really getting discussed much because it's not popular. It's not something that you hear from the MAGA group or any of the freaking woke society, but it has to do with agriculture and antitrust. Now, I don't know if you guys have been hearing much about this on the news much, but there's a antitrust settlement that's taking place between the DOJ and 6 states that announced a proposed settlement to resolve a lawsuit alleging that AgriStats helped major poultry, pork, and turkey processors coordinate to inflate prices. Now, they've also, this is actually one of the good things that I think Trump is actually doing. If he goes on this, then I'll be okay with him a little bit. But he's going after the 4 major corporations here in the United States that's basically turned the poultry industry into a monopoly, basically. Tyson's one of them.
Dude. Yeah. Keep going.
And there's 2 other ones that. Well, there's 2 other ones that are major poultry corporations that aren't even here in the United States. And Robert says 3, but I don't know about the third one.
Can I ask you really quickly? Have you noticed the price of chicken is it's not inflating like everything else? At least in my opinion, at least from what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that has anything to do with it. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's fine. Now, the investigation found that, like I said, AgriStats enabled the exchange of sensitive information, including prices, production output, and labor costs, allowing competitors to adjust their supply and hike prices for consumers. Now, I do have the link for that if you guys want to check that out. It's something that I found. I'll put it down in the chat area to where you can check it out. It's a pretty big it's a pretty big story that's taken place, and like I said, this is stuff that's not being freaking introduced into mainstream media too much unless you really follow it.
I find this topic extremely interesting. It's personally, even of course, black man on the call talking about chicken. Well, I mean, I like the rotisserie chickens. So, from Walmart, we get the pre-cooked rotisserie chickens. They're like $6, and if you get them chilled, they're $4. You get a whole chicken for $4 that's cooked. And but even the other stuff, the packaged stuff, it's compared to the other stuff. I when I'm buying steak, that's $100 for a few steaks. But if I didn't have $100 worth of chicken, I could fill the entire freezer and refrigerator. So it's like there's got to be something going on here. There's some politics that I'm not aware of, and you're bringing it up. So please continue.
Well, yeah, it actually is pretty big news, to be honest with you. If they can do this and get away with it, then it's gonna help out with a lot of the stuff that's coming on with the poultry industry. I remember that there was a big deal that took place a while back where we ended up having a chicken shortage because trains couldn't get into Tyson's in order to get freaking poultry sent out to the rest of the country, and that was because that there's 4 major companies here in the United States, and that's it. They run the whole thing.
Yeah, but that one right there, Tyson got busted for child. They had all the children in the Tyson warehouse selling chicken. They were shut down over that.
Well,
Tyson's still running today.
Yeah, but that's why they were real
I could have an entire we could have an entire conversation about the quality of mass-produced chicken products in the US, which is extremely poor compared to what we see in the EA, especially in the UK. But we could also have a conversation about the issues in relation to the lobbying of these companies in relation to the Federal Drug and the Food and Drug Administration agency, which, as we all know, the corruption as far as the FDA and the also the Agriculture Agency in the US is rampant.
Well, I'm not actually understanding what the lawsuit actually entails, but I can tell you, I know just about everything how the chickens are treated and produced. I watched those PETA documentaries, and guess what? I don't care. Chickens.
Now, on Thursday, after May the 8th, in an antitrust case that had accused the data company AgriStats of enabling poultry companies to systematically increase prices and coordinate decisions around the meat supply. They proposed a settlement reducing, according to it, and the DOJ,
overall costs for the consumers.
No, what it was is the
Or for
Department
manufacturers.
The Department of Justice just proposed a settlement on Thursday in an antitrust case that had accused a data company called AgriStats of enabling poultry companies to systematically increase prices and coordinate decisions around the meat supply, reducing competition in the marketplace. Now, the DOJ filed the case in 2023 under the Biden administration amid rising food costs. Not long after, it also sued several poultry companies for collusion. Now, under the settlement, the government will drop the case in exchange for AgriStats making changes to the kinds of reports it produces and how they are shared with meat companies. For example, AgriStats will stop providing company-level production costs and labor data to poultry giants, since that could allow them to adjust their production based on
what the government's saying is we can drop the charges as long as you promise to. Fingers crossed, pinky showing. As long as you promise to. Yeah. Yes.
Ridiculous.
Really.
Yeah.
It is ridiculous.
now.
And this is something that's going on far beyond the meat industry. And again, I've been doing this for quite a long time, and I've done a lot of studying on this. And I'm going to tell you something, just about anything that we sell to Great Britain right about now is being held over our heads, and it doesn't look like that's going to end anytime soon.
Well, England is actually going through the same situation, and they're starting to notice it too in Canada. Like Canada is actually they're starting to speak up more about their poultry industry up there as well, and that's something Robert has been wanting
Well,
to
we've
talk
been
about.
quite vocal about a poultry industry in the UK for some time. To be fair.
Good.
I hope it gets brought up, because the thing that I hate the most is the deception. When you look at the size of the chicken, oh yeah, look at the size of it. You go back home and you cook it, and it's half its original size. And that's because they're fluffing the meat with saline and fluoridated water, I guess, to make black people even more stupid.
I was going to ask you.
I don't know.
Do you ever buy organic or locally produced chicken?
I'm mostly a Walmart guy, but I have a roommate that likes to get everything custom, and fancy. So I both.
Go to your local butcher and pick up chicken from your local butcher.
Here's the thing, guys.
Well,
the chicken, they do pump all that water and steroids into it.
Water, antibiotics.
Yeah. And
saline water.
Yeah.
And fluoridated water. Yeah.
Then
they're not even using clean water.
Oh, yeah. Well, that, and then they do the rotisserie meat, where they take all the bones, put the meat on it, throw it into a big container, and add some
chicken nuggets.
they use it, then they separate the meat from the
chicken.
Make that a thing of meat. But then they go and they take chunks of meat that's not been, that they've removed from the rest of the goose and glue it together.
I don't mind them reusing, because I mean, some people will say that that's industry and it's greed. No, but you're supposed to use every part of the animal.
No,
I agree with that. However, but when you buy a product and you say it's something that it's not, I got a problem with that.
Yeah, but here's the thing: since they take meat from overseas, put them in the big metal containers that set on top. You see them where they get off the bars, off the boats.
Yeah.
Well, some of them have got deep freezers attached to it. Okay. Only two things I can think of would be in there. Okay. Medicine or beef, some kind of meat type, or from different. But then they're taking that from there over to here. It's so bad that our economy is that people that just feed the cattle this grass, but when they go and say that it's not even worth taking the cattle in, because they spend more on taxes, and they're, for all the costs that it does take, they lose out because they don't make any money from the cattle that they raise for the next 4 years.
That's the difference between the US and the UK. In the UK, we've got, for the most part, we've got fairly strict labelling laws. I don't know if you remember what happened about, I think about 10 years ago now in the UK in relation to horse meat in lasagna products.
Please don't bring up horse meat. Please don't bring up horse meat.
The issue wasn't because there was horse meat in the lasagna product. It was because it was labelled as beef. It was be advertised as beef. So we've got, for the most part, we've got much more rigid labelling laws. Consumers need to know where they're getting their chickens from, what country produces the chicken, and does is the product actually chicken?
So in other words, don't get any meat from Canada because it might have some horse meat in it.
Well, if it's labelled with horse meat, then that's legal. Maybe so that's legal. If it's labelled as chicken and it's got horse meat in it,
Well,
then that's
if
illegal.
that meat won't go, it's a good gift. It's good. I'm gonna club that sucker. Yeah, but what I'm referring to is it's where when these places they manipulate the whole thing. These three companies from overseas, and Tyson one. Okay, they own 85% of the market of all the chicken, the fish, the turkey. They own 85% of it. Okay. And the government looks and says, we're going to have to make some big changes. So there should be no way.
When you buy your chicken products from your local supermarket, do you look at the label and see if it says chicken is produced in the US?
They don't have to.
Precisely.
Yeah, they don't have to.
In this
All
country.
the ingredients have. All I say is the ingredients and a serve by date, basically.
Okay.
And that's the thing. You can load up all that meat from another country, bring it over here, and we're supposed to have them inspectors at the meat packing plant, okay? Well, how can they expect that meat if it's coming from one to the other and you being processed right out from, because it's already been processed, cleaned and all that from a different country. And when you take meat,
if you're a manufacturer, you provide standards to your contractors.
Yes. As a matter of fact, that's it. I mean, you have to provide standards to those who provide whatever goes into what you're about to sell. So those standards have to meet American restrictions.
It's all about liability.
Yes, it is.
But it's not supposed to be here, and nobody knows of it. Okay, you're bringing in thousands and thousands of tons of meat that nobody knew. Chicken.
So the issue really is in relation to U.S. regulations.
Yeah.
Okay, so hold on real quick. Before you guys go on, I did pull up the name of the four poultry companies. One's BRF, and that's out of Brazil. And then you have Wynn's Food Group, which is out of China. You have Pilgrim's Pride, which is the United States, and then you have Tyson's, which is the United States as well. So those are the four major ones out of the ones that I was discussing. So there's also a couple of other articles that I posted in the chat section here in the thing, and the thing of it is what I wanted to tell everybody is, like, there's a chicken class action lawsuit which is made in 2026, and there are payouts for anybody who is wanting to make who wants to cash in on that. There's payouts and deadlines. The chicken class lawsuit.
What do you mean, anybody?
Yeah, let me finish here and you'll hear it.
Oh, okay.
It says the chicken class action lawsuit could put money in your pocket in 2026. Major poultry producers agreed to pay hundreds of millions after getting caught fixing prices. If you bought chicken at a grocery store between 2009 and 2020, you might qualify. The settlement fund.
That's definitely me.
The settlement fund has topped $181 million for multiple companies. Okay, so
I'm a chickaholic.
And that is coming out of Lawful. There's also a Texas lottery rigging lawsuit link that I put in there for Fall Guide 2026, and it says the Texas lottery rigging lawsuit is one of the most significant consumer fraud legal actions in Texas history, targeting allegations of lottery games. Allegations that lottery
I've known this
games
about Texas for a long time. Yes.
were manipulating to suppress legitimate winners and deceive millions of ticket buyers. Now, this is not rumor or conspiracy. Legal filings, investigative reporting, and state-level inquiries have all pointed to serious irregularities in how Texas lottery games were operated.
Funny enough, it's either this case or a similar case. I only came across earlier or yesterday now, as far as I'm concerned. I saw a report earlier on either this case or a very similar case.
Yep. And that's what I'm saying. It's not getting very much public recognition.
Of course not, dude. Do you know how much money? Listen, even my parents played the lottery. I'm a Texan, all right, and I can tell you the greed from that state is just it's immense. Just so something like this, it's par for the course. When you talk about Texas is the richest state in the union, next to California. I mean, come on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they know how to pat their pockets. They know how to social engineer getting those lottery winners who will go have a coke party and die the next day. They know how to pick these people. They know how to get these people who can be catfished and scammed out of all their money. There are so many operations of how the state will get their money back from lottery winners. It's insane. I know everyone.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second, okay? And when you get a chance, anybody listening to this, take a look at how many accidental and non-accidental deaths occur in what states in the United States. And if you don't find California and Texas pretty much at the top of the list, then you're looking at the wrong list.
And I wanted to also say, before I open this up to Robert, because I know he's going to go crazy with it, but before he does, I want to say too, in concerns to what Mark was saying with the FDA, I agree, but I also found some stuff out with that too that hasn't been reported on. President Trump is preparing to fire Food and Drug Administrator Commissioner Marty McCreary, according to multiple outlets, after months of controversy at one of the largest sub-agencies of the Department of Health and Human Services. Now, McCreary...
He's already fired a lot of these guys, though, hasn't he?
Now, McCreary and the FDA have been at the center of several headaches for the White House, including over vaping, abortion, and drug policy. And well, that's what that's all about when it comes to, especially with this poultry thing. This is a big deal, and it's just getting out of hand with freaking not just the FDA, but they're also going after freaking the Department of Agriculture as well, because the Department of Agriculture has been one big monopoly since this has ever been formed. Because I've always talked about like milk and what they did with the whole pasteurization shit. You know what I mean? They took out all of this stuff that was supposedly harmful in milk and they turned it into cheese. And now when you go into a grocery store, you see frickin' the dairy department and the cheese department is just as big or bigger than what frickin' the milk department is. And they did
sometimes
that
they're
purpose.
separate.
Right. You know.
Shall we talk about the entire U.S. food triangle scam? And
That's what this is all about.
And the cornflake or cereal scam.
That's what this is all about.
The motel thieves and,
Well, you started it. You need to talk before Robert gets on here, because he starts running.
Oh God! No, I'm not a level.
Go ahead, Robert. I'm muting and say your part.
Well, they have said that okay, iodine 5, yellow-dine 5, yellow-dine 1 adds to it. Just things to we we call, people that has there's a bunch of problems with all this iodine stuff that brings up in people, and like when the medicines as well, they have found out that certain medicines is just better for other things, and the people that's running it ain't been checking in on it, and they have found out that the guy, well, the guy that's running it now has made a statement about for the amount of money that the U.S. forks out for medical testing and all that is highly too high for the amount of information we're getting back from all this medicine. Like that shot for shingles, as he said, that it's not enough information there, a side effect of it. And they have found out that there's far more serious ones. They only put down what's called light ones that got side effects of it. And they like in Canada, the Canada thing about their medicine. Okay, it's the thing that when both countries when people go from here in the U.S. to go to Canada to get medicine, because how they are now, they're popping up. Canada is about the prices and all that. Where the medical, they're talking about making the prices of the medicines even more, and people there from there might not be able to afford it, and they're having problems with medical up there, the way they make it out on the news. And well, when all different brands of countries and all that, well, how like we have, and when medicines.
No, hold on a minute. Now, Tan, are you still on? Or did he fall asleep? He probably fell asleep. He would be the one to be asking this too, because he's from Canada. It's like when it comes to like the medical stuff, that's actually a big deal.
Canada have a very sort of similar system as the UK? It's got states provided medical.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Based on taxation.
Yeah, because there's a lot of stuff going on up there when it comes to the socialist movements that they've got going on. And like their socialism is getting really out of hand. Now they're negotiating with China to have like artificial intelligence ran taxis put into Ontario, and that's getting a lot of headlines up there now. Like they're wanting to do deals on these cars. They're bringing new cars in from China to Canada too. That's completely built automated. Like even the factories are just automated. They have like maybe a little bit over 1,000 people running these factories.
Yeah, we discussed this during the break in between glass and this show, and I was pointing out things like big data centers only being run by 25 full-time employees, and the issues about in the US, there's promises of all these jobs being produced because of data centers, but when you look at the actual data itself, the jobs are only produced in the creation of the data centers. Once these data centers are up and running, you've only got very minimal skeleton staff.
Yeah.
If things work
What I'm
the way they're
referring to is
supposed to.
But what I'm referring to is this. Okay. Look at the size of the plant. Okay. And look at for a regular plant, how many people get hired for a full-size plant making vehicles? Everything about the vehicle.
Hold on a minute. I just ran a check and I wanted to get the name of it official and make it real. The manufacturing facilities that are in China that are all ran by robotics and AI are referred to as dark warehouses or ghost logistics centers. So that's all I'm going to mute back
Fair
out.
enough. I've heard that term being used for Amazon facilities as well.
Well,
Yes,
the thing
yes.
is, yeah. So we are. My thing about this AI is it's going to push us further into the dark age of technology that we have. Okay, this is not a renaissance. This is dark age of technology. Okay, the less and less people you have. So, okay, Mark was looking at me weird there for a second. So when you talk about dark ages, that means you have a society, a culture where only a few are educated. Where a few are educated in something that runs society. Like you had, for example,
Or only a few are educated or only a few are educated at the level necessary.
Well, so for example, in Europe they call their dark ages because nobody could read. Only nobles and the clergy knew how to read. So it was sort of a dark age of information. So you translate that over to what we got going on now, and I brought this up before. Nobody here on this call can fabricate a phone for themselves or fabricate a computer. You can get the parts and put it together, but you cannot make a computer chip in your basement. Okay, so we are on that level of the dark age. So when you take more and more people out of tech, having a facility that should have 250,000 people only being run by 1,000 people, well, you're making what you're doing a secret. Essentially, it's only going to take a few people. I mean, the only defense we have against this when the AI does take over are our coders, are our hackers. These are the only people. The real anon, it's going to be our defense, because unless everybody can do this stuff, it's not going to be a good thing. But then at the same time, you have everybody access. If your kid can create an AI at home, well, that might just be a little dangerous too. So,
what is the biggest form of communication on the planet today in civilized countries? It is the internet. It is the computer. It is. So what my friend is saying is, boy, I'll tell you, we're at a point in humanity right now where we have the ability, and it doesn't have to be some superpower giant. We have the ability to cause more damage than, say, World War II, and without even trying too hard. And this is where we sit today. So when you hear, when we have the discussions like we're having right now, we didn't have these discussions 20 years ago. They didn't exist. Today they do.
I'm not sure about not having them 20 years ago. I mean, I can think of a number.
Well, not as bad. I'm not saying they didn't exist.
Not by the average, or not by a larger population, let's just say.
Yeah, well,
right.
It's so political yet.
Yeah, but what's really bizarre is, have you guys ever heard of the Georgia ice stones? Or did I say that right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Georgia
that got removed. Yeah.
Okay. You know what that pictures of me of? Okay. Now everyone's talking about all this stuff about government, the military taking